You ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, first thing first, Arch Manning. We talked about this last week. We got a ton of flack for this. I just want to let you guys know. There was comments coming at us left and right. Our throats were being slashed, that we're crazy. There's no way. And part of it, I think people weren't even watching the video because we weren't claiming anything. It was just a simple, we were just, describing what we were seeing. Right? And that's all we're doing here today. We're not here to make any claims. We're just simply letting you guys know what's happening here. So it came out at first early this morning that he got his decisions down to 2 schools. Those 2 schools being Texas and Bama. Old Pops, Cooper, came out and said, no. It's not true. We've got a few more on the table. And those schools are right here. We've got Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, which we already kind of knew and felt. But we added Florida and LSU to the mix. I love it, Steve.
I bet you do. And I can only think that a Florida fan would love this concept simply because it looked like from Arch Manning's tweets that he was down to just 2 schools. Now, look, at this level of recruiting, at this stage of recruiting, anything can happen, and we'll certainly talk about that just a little bit. But look, the fact that Cooper stepped in and said, "Hey, look, we're considering a lot more than that. We're considering a lot more than that." Now, look, sure. I think LSU is always going to be in the picture
just because it's close to home. Sure,
but again, and we've talked about this before, Billy's been there the whole time.
He's been lurking. He's been lurking.
He's been hanging out at basketball games. He's been doing all the right things to stay involved. And now he's got the recruiting prowess and he's got the name recognition that can keep him in. And the fact that Coop stepped in, Dad stepped in and said, "Hey, there's a couple more schools that are out there. He doesn't want the letters to stop flowing. Keep those letters flowing."
For sure. Look, and it's publicity, right? I mean, you don't want the noise to go away. It gets down to 2 schools, the noise kind of dies down. So it could be a little bit of a publicity stunt for Arch as well. But here's what I want to talk about. Regardless if he comes or doesn't come, that's not the point here. I see a lot of Gator fans kind of coming in. As Gator fans, I've learned there's 2 sides. You've got your very optimistic ones that are always going to be hoorah, go Gators. They're going to be the best. Then you got the ones that have been here for a while, and they just, every good thing, they're like, this is going to suck. There's no way this is going to work. And I get it. I've seen it. I've grown up with it. I understand where it comes from. I always try to be on the optimistic side. I find myself somewhat towards the end of the season always flipping the corner, but we flip a new pillow every year. That's kind of where I find myself. What this does for the Gators, it's the news. It's the fact that we get to throw the logo underneath him, right? It's the noise around him. There's a high possibility this guy could be complete dog shit. That's always a possibility. So it's not like, hey, he's going to be the Lord and Savior. I'm not praising that at all. God forbid we could get another quarterback that has a father as a pastor. I mean, how much? Where are these kids at? We need another one. But it's not, you know what I mean? So it's just the fact that, hey, we're in the conversation. Billy is putting himself out there and moving himself to be part of the conversation. And that, to me, is going to, and it always will be, a W. As long as we're in the conversation, we're winning.
Look, as long as they're talking about you, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Like, if you look back at the USC days, everybody hated USC. They hated Reggie Bush. They hated Leinart, Palmer. But they were talking about him. They were in the news. They were always a topic of conversation.
Bad news is good news.
Or hated him, doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
And look, like you just said, you get to put the logo underneath his name. That by itself is going to bring other kids who are looking up just some of the options that they have. It matters for the sake of keeping Florida in the argument of the number 1 recruit. I want to say the highest rated recruit in quite some time. Yeah. Well, from an overall rating.
Oh, overall, I got you.
The spark and all the other things that go along with that. But look, just having your name in the talk is certainly significant. So, like, let it go. Let Arch
let it
do
ride.
His thing.
Let us get excited for it.
The crazy part to me is that the guy who's the number 1 rated recruit is coming from the one brother that didn't play football for any significant length of time. It's not coming from Peyton. He's not coming from Eli. He has no rings. He's like, I want to say he's like the president of like a fuel and oil company or something like that. Which bravo to him. He's doing better than I am with this stupid podcast that I'm trying to do. But it's just the fact that it comes from
the one that didn't play football. Yeah, for sure. So that's what I'm saying. The kid could be complete trash. Before we move on, we have a few comments here. Brandon. I'm just going to go with Brandon because I can't see that last name there. There are a few certain things in life. Death, taxes, and Gator fans' pessimism. Yeah, absolutely.